What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Looks like I forgot to record an intro, or I just lost it in the ton of videos I have on my desktop still waiting to get edited. Before we actually jump into it, I just want to quickly preface it with, if you are not pulling the motor or tearing down the car to the point where you've pulled all the other crap out that you've seen me do in the last previous videos, I do not recommend doing this. It's going to be exponentially harder for you to remove the secondary air pump and secondary air injection system. Now, I've already removed the actual air pump in the previous videos when we were trying to access a bolt holding the OEM fuel rail shield on the driver's side by the oil fill neck. So if you want to see that part of the video, make sure you check out that specific video. So we're just going to jump right into it. There's two solenoids for the STI system that we're going to have to remove. To start, let's remove those two hoses that go to the solenoids. I'm going to do this by using a set of pliers to grab hold of the clamp and then use a flathead to pry off those hoses. I just did this. I just squeezed with one hand the clamp, pried with the other. The reason I'm cutting this hose here is because the hose itself is so rigid that you need to cut it in some manner or else it's never going to come out of the car. Okay, boom, cut. Now we have more room to mess with this thing. And push it all the way down and have it fall to the floor. I say this because in order to remove the hose we disconnected, we'll have to go underneath the car and pull it out. But for now, I'm going to focus on removing the bolt holding the main harness onto the block. If my memory is correct, I remember that the main harness sits right next to the solenoid, so we're going to have to remove the main harness in order to remove the solenoid from the block. All right, and we got it. This thing is now out of the car. This solenoid is trash. We will not be needing it. You can go ahead and toss it. Now, with the solenoid and the hoses that we removed previously, we can now focus on the last solenoid. There are 3 bolts holding that other solenoid down, one of which we will have to go underneath the car. There are 2 that are accessible from the top that I'm going to be getting right here. One more thing holding this thing onto it. It's a bolt all the way down here. It's a 14. Now let's remove this bracket out of here. I think that's a 12. There's a bolt that connects this bracket to the sensor. It's right here. Boom. There's the bracket, and this bolt goes right there. I just wanted to show you guys a better angle. I'm underneath the car here, driver's side axle, and this is the thing we were ultimately removing, right? So I ended up having to fish that out in between that Y right there. That's going to be my cylinder 4 cooling mod that goes to the head. You have to kind of go in between here and just yank it out and bend it as much as you can, so that way you can finally just pull this down. I mean, even now I'm kind of struggling with it, but you guys get the idea here. Once you pull the hose out of there, it's going to clear up a lot of room in here. So there is the last bolt that I'm referring to as part of the bracket, as well as that solenoid. And once we pull that bolt, we'll be able to undo those 2 12mm bolts that kind of look like an EGR pipe. The one that is to the left of the black hose there that goes on the back of the head. That is the driver's side port that we're going to be plugging up. And here's a better look of that bolt we need to remove so we can pull the bracket and solenoid out of here. So once we remove this bolt and these 2 right there, will be all good on this side. So it went pretty smooth here. I was able to get a 3/8 ratchet with a 3-inch and 6-inch extension and a 12mm socket, and that got the job done. Now, I'm going to give you guys some context of what I'm doing here. You're going to need to remove the up pipe. It is not that bad. I'll walk you through it. After removing the turbo in the previous video, there are 2 brackets that support the up pipe to the actual chassis. You have a left-hand side bracket and a right-hand side bracket, both of which are held onto the car by 14mm nuts and/or bolts. Now, there is one pesky bolt that I didn't get on video, but if you're doing this, you'll know exactly what bolt I'm talking about. On the right-hand side bracket, there is a bolt that goes into the transmission bell house that is right behind that oil return line on the bottom of the turbo. That will also need to come out. And once you have those brackets out, you're going to need to go underneath the car and remove the 14mm nuts and bolts holding the up pipe to the headers. And once that is all out, we can finally remove the up pipe and access those 2 bolts holding the passenger side of the STI system in place. Then we can just wiggle it out of here and the whole STI system is gone. Here's an angle of that bolt I was talking about. So yeah, with the up pipe on, there is no way to reach that bolt. I think it's a 10mm, but now without the up pipe, we'll have plenty of room to be able to remove this, and then we can finally get rid of this crappy thing on the block.
Hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. I know it was a little different than most videos since I've already torn down a lot of things on the STI. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments. This is going to wrap up the last video of the teardown for the STI. Following this video is going to be the first install of the channel for the new setup. We're going to be installing the secondary air pump delete kit. Make sure you subscribe so you won't miss out on everything that happens with my STI. Thank you again so much for watching, and as always, I will catch you on the next one.